Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, part of the furniture with me, Daniel. It's season 16, episode 3, and today we're back for our Champions League debut. It's been 15 and a half years in waiting, we're into our 16th season, and we play our first game at the Torquay Stadium, and it's today at home against Lyon. It's a wet, windy night in England, just as we'd expect, so it's going to be tough for the visitors, and hopefully we'll be able to get a strong home result, as this is likely going to be deciding second and third place. We're the two teams expected to finish in the middle, and I'd imagine it's going to be between us to do so. But firstly, if you're not up to date with the schedule changes on the channel, and you're wondering why this is episode 3, we've now got episodes from this Torquay series every day from Sunday to Thursday at 4:30. So episode 1 was the transfer special on Sunday, and then we had episode 2 yesterday on Monday. That was a big one, as well as we played the European Super Cup final, one of the 6 trophies we really wanted to win at the start of the series, so make sure you go back and check that one out just to see how we got on in the final. But obviously we've got a lot to talk about today. We've got a few things to deal with off the pitch, as the transfer window's now closed, so some of the unhappy players have changed back, and we've also broken our wage structure slightly. The extra prize money from Champions League football and our start to the Premier League season has tempted us into raising our wage budget slightly. So that's another thing we've got to discuss, but obviously we're here for the showpiece event, our first ever Champions League game at the club, and it's a massive positive to have it at home too. We've got an awful draw in the Carabao Cup, so we can't focus on that this year. We really want to do well in Europe, and I hope we can at least secure a top 3 finish so we stay in Europe after Christmas. But firstly, let's go and have a look at the schedule to see how we've been getting on since you were last with me. We have had a few games, especially in the Premier League, just the 2 against Newcastle and Wolves, both narrow 2-1 victories. Baccanes and Kozul getting the goals against Newcastle, and then away against Wolves it was Keita and Andrade before Wolves gave us a scare late on. So certainly not a convincing start to the season, but we're gradually winning those unhappy players round, and as that happens I'm sure our form will improve, but we've still got a couple more to go yet. So let's go and have a look at the squad just to see which ones we've resolved and haven't. Richard Quirk is still unhappy. He's not willing to discuss a new deal yet, only rejected one a couple of weeks ago, and now he's still marked as unhappy at the club. The other two are Silla, who's the left winger. He's still unhappy that we couldn't let him go to City, and then Stojanovic, the keeper, was the latest one, but he's now delighted as he signs a new deal on 170,000 a week. Gerben Baccanes ended his unhappiness too. He signed a new deal for 180. I said he was the one we were worried about, as he only had 2 years left on his contract. He's rated as an elite midfielder by the media, and now he's on a 5-year deal, which means he's worth £70 million. He's been absolutely fantastic in the last year or so. Don't forget when he joined the club for 45 million, he got an injury that put him out for 3 months early on, and at that stage we thought we had a flop on our hands, but my word has he come along and proved us wrong. Omar signed a 5-year deal as well, again over 100 grand a week. He joins Yeladi and the summer signing, and Bruno Moresu also signed a new one. He was unhappy at the time, but now he signed a 5-year deal. So him and McDonnell on long contracts too, and it does mean we're in pretty good shape now. We've got a really strong squad, and it's just those other couple to win around, and then we'll be back to our normal status quo. It does mean the dynamics have improved slightly at the club. The dressing room atmosphere's got a dramatic change. It's gone from average to excellent due to our good form, and the fact that 3 of the 5 players aren't unhappy anymore. Then the managerial support's still good, despite a couple of players being unhappy. The big issue at the moment is Richard Quirk's a team leader, and he's causing a few little rifts in the squad. But as mentioned before, he's our only established player who's homegrown at the club. He is that youth intake star from 8 years ago, and we're determined to keep him at the club for now. Boubacar Silla I'm not so worried about, we just didn't get an offer worth accepting. But everything else is coming along nicely, and I think we're now in a pretty good position off the pitch, which hopefully means we can compete better on it. So let's go and get into this game against Lyon to see if that pays dividends today. As we did mention, we're second in the Premier League, 2 points behind the league leaders. It looks like City are going to run away with it again. A 16 goal difference after 6 games. They've been absolutely running riot in their matches, and I think we're fighting for for second again. Chelsea obviously beat us in that Super Cup final, so they're going to be a tough test too. And then the others of the top 7 are all hot on our heels, so it's going to be a very close race to the finish. Even Everton in 8th are doing quite well, so they're going to give us a tough test too. But we've got to start our Champions League campaign today. For those of you that missed the draw at the end of the last episode, it's Lyon today's opponents who are expected to get through, alongside Schalke, the Bundesliga side. Copenhagen expected to be the whipping boys, so hopefully we can guarantee at least Europa League football. I just want to finish in the top 3, and then maybe we can even defend the Europa League. But win this one and we could be on top, and back in with a shout at getting in the top 2. And of course in our first ever Champions League game at home, we really want to put on a brilliant display. It's a sellout as you would expect, with one of the slightly earlier kickoffs. The Champions League in real life now is split to 6 and 8 o'clock. We're one of the 6 o'clock kickoffs, and it's a wet windy night in southern England. So let's have a look at our lineup for this game as we go into it with a positive mentality. Both unhappy players are in the lineup, but most of the others have now recovered. Their morale sky high, and it should drag the rest along, and hopefully that will work as we get into the game. We've got Stojanovic in goal as always, Richard Quirk and Moraes are the fullbacks, with McDonnell and Hole in the middle. Bacanes in the holding role, with Keita and Omar in central midfield, and in Diogo Sousa on the right wing, as Yaladian's got a bit of a knock, and then Silla on the left with Andrade up front, who's also struggling for morale at the moment. So a few players we're a little bit worried about, but we've got a strong bench as well. The likes of Rutherford, Lappin and Kozul are particularly strong attacking options. There are a few missing out on the squad, but they're going to feature in the Carabao Cup next week, so I'm not too worried about them for now, as they'll probably play against Copenhagen too. But let's go and get into this match and see if we can get a dream start in the Champions League and the 3 points that go with it. It's a 4-4-2 for Lyon. We weren't expecting to see that. Most of the continental sides play a very different formation. They've got Gedson Fernandes in central midfield. At 34 years of age now, a very experienced pro, but still rated as a world-class midfielder and a professional personality as well. But let's go and talk to the lads. Tell them to go out and prove a point. That's what Stuart Jelling recommends. It's his first game coaching in the Champions League too, and it's a new experience for us of course as well. Let's go and get into the kickoff. It's Lyon to take it, and it's back to Guyot at centre half, to Diniese the central defender. Gets them back to the centre half again, and the highlight ends with a score 0-0. We may have to drop to a balanced mentality at some point, as they are of course playing a front two, but for now we're going to see if we can dominate the match, and we'll drop back if we're not able to. 2 minutes in and Keita's got a yellow, as Silla wins it high up the pitch. He finds Omar 25 yards out. Lovely idea to get the ball in. I thought he was going to shoot, but he tried to find Sousa, and unfortunately it was cleared. The ball's fallen for Moraes though. He shoots from 12 yards, it deflects onto the post. I thought that was the moment, but unfortunately it's cleared, and it's still 0-0, but we've had the first good chance. It's a long throw for Richard Quirk from the left-hand side, into Holder centre half, back to Keita who shoots, but it's disallowed for offside. It must have been Hole in the box. Unfortunately it does remain goalless still, but Lyon haven't had a chance yet, and we've been completely dominant. The ball's gone long from the keeper, but Moraes picks it up at left-back, and his through ball finds Andrade. He's in one-on-one and shoots. Tardy makes the save in the Lyon goal, and we're going to have a corner on the left-hand side. Omar's going to take it an outswing in delivery, as plenty of men are in the box. Sousa hits the bar and it drops to Moraes. He scores from a yard. The left back opens our Champions League account. A big money signing 12 months ago, and he's come into the side in Europe and has starred in the Champions League group stages. What a finish from a yard. Wasn't the best goal in the world, but he had to be in the right place as Keita puts one wide from the edge. We are running absolute riot in this game. How it's only 1-0 I don't know, and are we going to live to regret it? It was a great header from Sousa in the first place for the goal. Unlucky himself that it hit the woodwork, and now Lyon are in at the other end as we lapse in concentration. It went over Hole the right centre half, but thankfully the shot went awry. Silla intercepts and wins back the ball, and the highlight ends with 10 minutes to the break. We still lead 1-0 on our Champions League debut, and it's been a really strong performance to go with it so far. Stojanovic with the ball in goal. It's a free kick just outside his own penalty area. We've worked it forward to Omar just in their half, and he plays a 1-2 with Silla. Murray's overlapping again and his cross is blocked. Back to Cater, who finds him again. Murray's across the box and he's hit the defender straight into the back of the net off Goyo. 2-0 on the stroke of half time. The perfect time to double our lead. What a fantastic goal. Bruno Murray's causing chaos on the left. He's certainly turned up for the big game. Half time here at the Torquay Stadium and we lead 2-0 against Lyon. A dream start and I couldn't be much happier. We finally look like we've come to life this season. Let's talk to the lads then, try and calm down a bit. I can't remember being much more excited for a game. The Europa League final and the FA Cup final were special, but in terms of just a general season match, this one's really given me excitement. I'm loving the series and I'm loving the squad we've got here. Bruno Murray starring on the left, no longer unhappy, and it certainly shows in his performance. Let's hope the same happens to Richard Quirk if he eventually signs a new deal. It's a throw on the left for Lyon. Quirk intercepts, but it's gone straight to the fullback again. He finds Martinez, who comes over halfway, does really well to beat Cater, but Omar intercepts. We've been pressing so well, and he plays a 1-2 with Bacanez. A lovely bit of skill and a through ball, headed away as far as Andrade. He gets it out to Souza on the right, who looks like he's got a point to prove this game, having been dropped from the side for Yeladian. He wants to win his place back, as Omar brings it forward again. Silla to Andrade on the edge, he shoots just wide. Brilliant effort from the edge of the box, but he didn't quite curl enough. 5 minutes into the second half and the pattern of play is continuing. Lyon still yet to have a shot in this match and we're now on to 15. It's Andrade holding it up again. He finds Bacanez and now Omar. The two left-footed midfielders have been brilliant as Cater nicks it for Souza. Back to Omar at the edge of the box. It bobbles around and the shot was fantastic, but in the end it just goes over the bar. Almost at the hour mark now, and we will start to think about changes in a moment. 25 minutes left and I've just seen that João Felix has come on up front, now 33 years of age at Lyon, and his physical attributes have declined massively, so not such a problem for us there, as Andrade has a free kick blocked from 25 yards, but it falls to Silla on the right wing. Into Goyo, who nearly gets another own goal to his name, slices it behind with his left foot, and Omar's got an in-swinging corner. Into the back post towards Cater, headed away as far as Moreira, he brings it away and now it's a 2-on-2, but we're really working hard to get bodies back. Out to Moreira on the right again. He goes back to the fullback. Inside to Morin in central midfield and out to Moreira again. Lyon having a spell of possession here, as it does look like they've had a shot in this game now, but the highlight ends as we press them back, and with 20 to go we'll make a change. Maddie Cater's nervous and he's on a yellow. We don't want to risk ruining his Champions League debut and risk getting a red card, so we're going to bring Dimitri Lapin on in the Mazzala role. Really I'd like to take Omar off as well, but that's not possible at the moment, so we'll stay on for a few more minutes. Up front we're going to bring on Lee Rutherford. There's no one that deserves this appearance more than him. Of course he scored in the FA Cup final, the winning goal as it happened last year, and he's the reason we got to the Europa League final with that late winner in the semis for AC Milan. Let's get back into it for 5 more minutes and then we'll think about resting Omar. It's Morin in holding midfield for Lyon. He finds Gedson. Back to Morin again. Not really coming out of their own half here. Still no shot on target yet, though they are coming forward with Martinez. Into João Felix, who switches it well. Out to Moreira on the right. Moraes intercepted our left back and he finds Silla, who can charge away. A lovely ball down the left to Rutherford, though there's no one in the middle at the moment. He crosses and it's nervously cleared away. Falls for Omar on the edge. Beats 2 players and puts it wide, but we still look on top at the moment. Omar's going to be replaced by Raphael, just because he's the only player that can play in that position. Not natural at it by any means, but one of him or Bacanez can play in the middle. I was just trying to see who's best there, and it doesn't make much of a difference, so we'll put Raphael in that position for now, just because he's got the fresher legs. He'll drop to a support duty so we keep our shape. There's no need to risk losing this 2-0 lead. The ball goes up for 3 minutes of stoppage time, and we've not yet seen a highlight since that last sub, although it is with Lyon on the left now, as Morin's got it on halfway. Gedson gets it wide to the right back. The substitute crosses it in. Hull misses his header, but Quirk clears it long. Solid defending from the right back. He's had his best game of the season so far, so hopefully he'll be willing to discuss a new deal soon. The cross is into João Felix, who heads wide, and it looks like that's going to be the last chance. A minute left and it's a long throw into Rutherford, headed away as as far as Silla. Into Quirk again and now lapping. Back to Raphael who shoots. Tardy gets down to his left-hand side and picks it up at the second attempt. I'm sure he'll clear this one long downfield, but it's only as far as Bruno Moraes. He heads it away to Moreira, who can charge forward on the right. João Felix picks it up and finds Gedson. Now Morin out to the left for Richard, but it's overhit and it's out for a throw-in. What a fantastic professional display. Look at the average ratings across the back four. Moraes scored a goal and got an 8.0, and the rest are all in the 7s as well. Stojanovic hasn't had to make a save, not one shot on target conceded, and with a fairly expansive controlling formation, that is a really good outcome. The Torquay fans have seen over 20 shots, even though we've been outplayed for possession. We have dominated this match in terms of chances, and it has been the perfect first Champions League game. This gives me hope that we can get through to the last 16, and could we maybe even do what we did in the Europa League and try and go and win it at the first attempt. I may be getting a little bit carried away there, but it was a good performance and a good win for the boys, and we're going to go back and see what the media have said. They should be as happy as we are. The quality of possession provides victory. Lyon featured a number of quick players and had more of the ball, but they didn't make anything of it, and Torquay got a comfortable 2-0 win. We'll go and look at the press conference because it's our first one in the Champions League, and we also get £2.5 million just for winning a group stage game. We should have some new journalists at the Champions League one, as you'd expect different ones to be covering it. I thought we played very well and we were satisfied with the performance. Our defensive display was sensational. Bruno Moraes hardly ever scores, but of course we're all delighted for him. Maddie Cater's goal was disallowed. Normally we'd argue because it may well have been the wrong decision, but we won 2-0, so there's no need to cause trouble. We're just going to say we thought the referee was fine. He did a good job and I'm sure he made the right decision. We don't really care as we've won the game comfortably. I know some might say, what if you lose out on goal difference? But don't forget the Champions League's done on a head-to-head basis, so goal difference is likely to be irrelevant, so there's no need to really get wound up by that. We are going to have a quick look at the schedule though, because we want to try and plan when we're next going to be back. I'm quite conscious of the fact that I haven't shown you a Premier League game yet. Of course we had a friendly start on paper, and that finishes with Reading at the weekend. But then we've got a spell of United, Arsenal, Liverpool and City in a row, before going away to Watford. And then we've got Spurs a couple of games later too. A really tough spell for the club. So we'll probably come back for one of those. At the moment it looks like it's going to be us and City in the title race. If that's still the case, we'll come back for that one, although if another one becomes particularly important, we'll switch and show you that instead. So I won't commit to a game just yet, but of course we will have played Copenhagen by then, so hopefully we'll have got 6 points out of 6, and if we play against Schalke we might even have 9. That's going to be the toughest test in the group, but fingers crossed we can get a result somehow. I'm hoping we can sneak through in the Carabao Cup, but I'm presuming it's going to be unlikely with our backup side. Tottenham are a really good team, but if we do get through that one, surely there won't be many tougher tests to come. However, we did win it last year and we've ticked the box for that one. It's certainly not a priority for Torquay now, so it will always be a chance to rotate the squad and give our backup players a game in the first team. Of course that's not always the best attitude to have, and if we do start to struggle in other competitions, then we can review that policy in the next couple of years. But we're hoping to still get 4 more in this series, and if you enjoyed that Champions League debut, please do put a thumbs up on the video. I can't explain how delighted I am with it, not just the win, but the fact we controlled the game, the fact that we were so solid defensively, didn't concede a shot on target for the first time I can remember, and had chances to score 3 or 4, and according to the media, we were unlucky not to win by 3 anyway. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the performance, and how important you think it is that we've won a few players round. Do you think we'll get Richard Quirk back on side, or will he be the one that tries to force his way out? The rest of them are pretty much on board with us, and Silla I'm sure will change soon, as Manchester City are no longer interested in his services. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from this Torquay United story. We've got an episode every Sunday to Thursday at 4:30, following the schedule changes last week. We'll also have occasional episodes on Saturdays on the channel, just as we share some of our plans for FM20 with you and react to some of the upcoming announcements for the game, so hopefully you're all looking forward to that. I already know all the teams I'm going to be managing, and I'm really looking forward to the game already. So fingers crossed it'll be as good as this one has been, as I've really enjoyed every moment of it. There's also 3 episodes a week from my Cricket 19 career. That's every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday at midday. A massive thank you to everyone that continues to follow that series, as we've reached some major landmark moments in the last week or so. So if you're not up to date with it, please do go and check it out, as well as the Ashes Test playthrough beforehand. I really have enjoyed making that content, and although at times it's been a little bit rusty, as I've got used to producing content from a new game on the channel, I really thank you for your support in watching, and hope you continue to enjoy the series. Then finally, the Snooker 19 career mode content, that's every Friday at 4:30. This week will be a very special episode in that game, as we start the season-ending World Championships. It's going to be the last event from that career, and I'm really hoping it'll end in glory. We wanted to emulate Ronnie O'Sullivan, and my hope is that we can do it in that tournament. For the first time in a while, we're favourites in the first round, so hopefully we'll be able to put on a good display. But a massive thanks for watching this one and your continued support with the series as always. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time for another big episode, as we'll have a top of the table Premier League clash.